Today is Wednesday, 5th August 2026. Good morning and welcome to our breakfast show, Good Morning Sierra Leone. This is the program that starts your day with analysis on different views on news and current events. I am Sheku Smile.
And I am Esther Sapu. Our quote of the day is from American theologian Clyon Edwards, and it says, "Between two evils, choose neither. Between two goods, choose both." I go again. Between two evils, choose neither. Between two goods, choose both. Now, coming up in this edition of the program, Anti-Corruption Commission investigations unearth the fraudulent diversion of government revenue running into billions of leones through Asakuda transactions done through various commercial banks. Knowledge Network Solutions embark on a nationwide mapping of government offices, private institutions, and businesses to compile accurate address data. And on the delay of clearing and forwarding of goods at Queen Elizabeth II Key, we shall be talking to the Sale Ports Authority and the Custom Brokers Union. All this will be discussed in the next 55 minutes of the program. You can be part of the program by sending your text message to the number displayed on your screen or send your comments on our Facebook page, SLBC.Tesla. The program is going to be in Sierra Leone live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Stay with us.
We are back, and the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from a broadcasting house near Leone in Freetown. Now, investigations conducted by the country's anti-graft agency, the Anti-Corruption Commission, have unearthed the fraudulent diversion of government revenue running into billions of leones through Asakuda transactions done through various commercial banks. 10 suspects were arrested and detained in connection with the alleged unlawful deletion of Asakuda payment records and diversion of government revenue. During their investigations, the ACC interrogated senior officials of NRA, including the Commissioner General, Madam Jennifer Bangura. The ACC uncovered evidence that confirms that entire declarations were deleted from the Asakuda database after payments had already been made. Through a web of complex criminal transactions, where over 30 billion leones was either stolen or diverted from a government account in various commercial banks across the country. Well, in the studios to talk more on this is the Deputy Director of Communications and Public Affairs at the Anti-Corruption Commission, Sylvanus Blake. Good morning, Mr. Blake, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sheku, and understand. Good morning.
Now, it seems as though technology is being beaten. I can remember vividly when the Asakuda was introduced, initially. The hopes of Sierra Leoneans were based on the public relations that was done, the communication from NRA, but it was a secure kind of system wherein it will be very difficult for it to be beaten. But now, some years down the line, we've come to realize that, the humans are more powerful.
Well, human build systems, so that's why I did not agree with former President Obama when he said Africa needed strong institutions, not strong men. I believe yes, strong institutions are needed, but you're actually, when you don't even have institutions, you need strong people with courage, dexterity to build them and allow them to work. And with time, they become very strong that weak people cannot undermine them. So the Asikuda system was brought in, built on purpose to be strong, to be resistant to fraud, to be able to detect fraud. It is a multi-layered check system that ensures what goes to the bank, which is government money, is recorded by the bank, it is transferred to government account, NRA gets record, and those 3 records are analyzed, and once it enters the Asikuda system, you don't come back to interfere with it easily. You don't come to delete, you don't come to erase, you don't come to manipulate the figures. It is difficult, or it was intended to be difficult. But over the years, like you've rightly said, one of our investigations into NRA, and I want to state clearly that there are still other investigations carrying on now, and one of them that we've concluded is on the Asikuda, and we found out that it has been compromised, its security has been breached, and government revenue has been cut.
Mr. Blake, to beat the Asikuda is not a one-man thing. It is supposed to be a joint criminal enterprise. It cannot be done by just one man. Like you mentioned, layers. There must be others who are on the ground performing, and probably when it comes to now people being investigated, you see some other people probably who are the helm of affairs, who probably might have been involved in 1 or 2 things. But then it is not a one-man thing.
Management can be a one-man team, and systems like that built to protect revenue. And I stated in a sister program this morning, when we succeed to protect revenue in this country, our revenue alone can take care of what we need financially in over 80%. This is my belief. I believe in that strongly, because over the years, in my experience at the ACC, we've had countless cases of tax fraud, of revenue misuse. Remember, before this, we had the EcoBank saga, 36 billion in that region was recovered. Very recently, and that was revenue, NRA money or public money. Very recently, Freetown City Council, we recovered for them 3 or so billion and giving that to them. Before that, there had always been, we had the NRA EcoBank Maxim's case that involved Solomon Carter and others. It has been done, and systems are built to protect this revenue. So I agree with you that it can't be a one-man show, because there are means to verify. For example, in the Asikuda system, the back end, which is not accessed by all, is manned by the IT department. There is a director in that department, there is an IT manager, and there are IT personnel. They are on the back end, like we have the technical crew now, seeing what is happening here. If I'm not seated properly, they will come and say, oh, sit properly. So they are the back end, and the IT department grants access to Asikuda staff by creating user accounts for them, secured user accounts. So if you're an Asikuda staff, you have your user account. It is that account you use for reconciliation. The banks that are the commercial banks that have NRA accounts, they have bank personnel who have access into their own user accounts. NRA creates this for them, so that when the money comes in, they credit to NRA, and the amount is accounted for in the Asikuda system.
Okay.
So those accounts, once created, can only be managed by the IT people with instructions from. There is a layered level of management from the board to the Commissioner General and all of these systems. But what criminals always do, and we don't pay attention, is that they are equally smart, albeit for bad reasons. They observe, they work on processes, they try to see weaknesses, they enter a house, they look for security gaps, and once they find one, they can always recruit people within the ranks who will collude with them. I've said it. I know for a fact that it is not everybody at NRA that is supporting this. Otherwise, we can't see revenue. But there are those in the ranks who believe that's the way to make money. And that is why we've recommended to the NRA. You mentioned an amount. We don't even know how much government lost.
But it runs into billions.
Billions, I agree.
Billions, yeah.
Billions. Because we did not. Our investigations took months. We, in our estimation, got even a consultant to check the back end. Once they deleted in the Asikuda, the only place you could have gotten what was deleted is in the recycle bin, which is in the back end. They went down and deleted. So even when the entire system was turned upside down, crashing, reinstating, and all of that, our investigators took time. Experts in our opinion who have idea in how these systems work took time. You can't. You know things were deleted from the front end, and you can get to the back end and know how many deletions took place. The face value of those deletions, it cannot be traced down. So that is why we have said, indeed deletions took place. Indeed those deletions were unauthorized. Indeed accounts, user accounts are still there when the personnel in whose name those accounts were created, we are no longer with the bank.
So Mr. Blake, this is coming at a time that Parliament just summoned the NRA because they didn't meet their revenue generation drive. So how does this affect the country as a whole, and also your own role as an anti-graft agency in fighting corruption in the country?
I'm told the NRA is falling short of its revenue requirement, and I'm not surprised because of what I am aware we've been investigating and what has been happening. And what I am aware of is, again, we've made recommendations to the NRA, to the management bar, that Asikuda system should be made to work. It has to be upgraded, improved. I mean, we can't run Asikuda. Our best bet is to recommend. And what do we make of this? It's just the truth. Monies have been stolen by people recruited, paid salaries, paid allowances, given fear, top up, some even sleep in government quarters, medical bill, and all of that. People recruited and paid by the state to take care of the state's resources. Among those people, we have evidence, we have records over the years that they are bad people, stealing. For example, in this same investigation, we wanted to talk to Mr. Abu Kamara. He ran away. We couldn't get him, but our laws are progressive. We now charge him for possession of unexplained wealth and corrupt acquisition of wealth. Because when we check his asset declaration, what he had in his declaration couldn't have given him the assets we were able to profile him of having. So we are in the conclusion of the process of selling 3 prime houses that belong to him to restitute the state. This is our role when crime, corruption to wit occurs. And beyond that, to recommend what should be done for it not to happen again. These are tough times for the leadership at NRA. I agree. So
are you suggesting that the Asikuda as it stands right now is useless?
I couldn't use the word useless because we are still using it to get revenue, but it is compromised. So when something is compromised and that thing is useful, you take care of the compromise. And those compromises must be taken care of now. Because of course, next year every day we collect revenue. Every day we collect revenue. And I still believe that we have not maximized the full revenue potentials of this country. From local tax, how many people pay? To every other tax. There are people who want to evade tax all over the world. People want to evade tax. It's not a comfortable thing. But when systems are built to work, for example, on our salaries, there is no negotiation for the NACIT contribution, for the income tax deduction. They don't talk to you, Esther. They don't talk to me. They just make sure you don't get access to it. So tax collectors, especially in this case NRA, should ensure that these tax regimes are so prompt, are so securitized that a taxpayer does not need to have an agent in the NRA. When he or she wants to pay tax, he is calling that officer and I will arrange it for me. Let's see how it works. No. If it is 10 leon, pay the 10 leon. Otherwise, you don't get clear. So this is what we are talking about, because every underpayment is against the state. And when these underpayments or complete payments come in, and then people now really interfere with it, so the Asikuda system is compromised, and we have recommended for it to be improved.
Okay, he is the Deputy Director at the Anti-Corruption Commission, Sylvanus Blake, speaking to us there as an agency has been investigating issues with regards revenue being diverted by this Asikuda system. Well, the program continues as Knowledge Network Solutions is beginning a nationwide mapping of government offices, private institutions, and businesses to compile accurate address data. The project digitizes the concept of old yellow pages into a searchable database accessible through a call center. Branded We Sabi, We Know, the initiative signals readiness to answer the many questions people have about locations and services across the country. In the studio, we have the CEO trading as We Sabi, and Desmond Nick. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Desmond McFoy.
Desmond McFoy. So tell us, what prompted this action by your organization in mapping government offices and private institutions?
It's the demand which we actually saw, because mostly you want to do a search for a particular business. You're looking for a medical specialist. What we do basically in Serene is just word of mouth. You need to ask somebody who has already gone through that process. And then we realized that before it was normal, it was okay. We do have, before the yellow page, you have businesses registered, you can go there and then you can search for services, and then you can get them. But now it's actually impossible. If I don't know, unless I have a friend who has an idea of what I'm looking for, and at the time normally you want that, you're looking for a particular service, or you're looking for an office, you notice that it becomes like impossible. So what we've done is we've developed a call center with the license from the regulator for a call center, and now we're putting together a mapping of all businesses and services. So we have enumerators that will be going out to collect this data and also linking them with GPS coordinates. So we have a direct mapping of the GPS coordinates for these businesses. So it makes it easier for the agents who will be answering the calls to give you proper direction where these offices are, what they're doing. And we're looking at valid businesses. And the call center will be collecting your knowledge base, whatever you have as a business which you want to share. It's going to be in our AI database which we're going to create. So our agents will be easier to answer inquiries from the public, what they're looking for, and then we can address that. So it's going to be a leading #1 call center that will address the needs and what citizens are looking for.
So is this a kind of a private initiative that wants to make access easy or easier for people who might want to know, where the private businesses are, yes, how they are contacted, and then you mentioned legal. The businesses have to be legal.
Yes,
they have to be legal.
They have to be legal. They have to be registered.
Okay. So now, have you already done the inventory of these businesses, or it is a process that has just commenced?
That's the mapping which is ongoing now.
The mapping, okay.
Yes, we're doing the mapping. We have enumerators going out. They'll be visiting businesses, offices to ask about this. And not only that, they'll be making some further inquiries about interest. We do have businesses in Israel. They don't even have a website. They're doing huge amount of businesses. They don't even have an official email. We're talking about scammers. You have businesses, people using Gmail, Yahoo. They don't, we take these things for granted, but these are the signal that tells you that somebody's there to scam you. If your email looks just like the email of a scammer, what's the difference between your business and that. So there will be part of this discussion, and then we'll understand what are the business interests and see how we can help. But in terms of the listing, getting you on board where citizens can actually reach out to your business, that listing is totally free, and it's a private initiative which we've looked at to see how we can bring that on.
But does that mean that we are not a profit-making kind of organization? Are you providing pro bono services to the public?
The listing is free, but then during the mapping, there will be other services we will definitely be able to promote, and definitely it's going to be a win-win situation. As I know, I can tell you, it's more than 70% of businesses doing thousands of dollars in Sierra Leone still using Gmail. Do you know that? People take it for granted. But then when you do international business, people don't take you seriously.
Somebody once said that businesses are largely secretive, in a way that there are certain information they don't want to divulge to the public. You understand? So what you are doing is that it has to be like, for example, they say willing buyer, willing seller. Is that somebody or the businesses will have to come up to you to say, okay, we want our business to be known or our businesses to be known, so we want to be part of this process, for easy access. Or, for example, you invite them, you invite them, you make your services known to them if they are interested in come. If they are not, that is just that.
The emulators will be going out, talking to these businesses. And again, we have to understand Sierra Leone is opening up now to business. And we need to scale up what we're doing. And that's what we want to do. There has to be a win-win situation for the business as well as the customers. We've been sitting in our corners. We have a fixed number of customers we are dealing with, but then we're not opening up. So what we're doing is, these are the digital platforms you have globally now, where you open up to customers and you open up to more businesses. A typical example, somebody coming for holidays to Sierra Leone, he wants to get just a ride to move about. He doesn't know what to do. He starts asking people around. But then if you have just a number you can call and they can be able to support you. I wake up this morning, I want to eat lafidi. What's the restaurant that can provide lafidi this morning? Can you tell me?
Okay.
It's not. So you see, it's going to be a win-win situation where people can actually be able to contact that call center and they'll be able to get information.
So Mr. McFord, has the mapping exercise commenced, or you're set to?
We're in the awareness phase. We'll develop a complete solution where we vet the emulators, and we know so many scams going out there. We've ensured that our emulators are well identified with IDs, which you can actually scan the ID and you validate the ID of the emulator, and these emulators are assigned to regions and areas. So definitely if you scan an ID which is supposed to be in book fields, it will tell you this particular emulator is assigned for book.
Any capital threshold. For example, you have to look at the capital of a particular business before you think, yes, this is a business we can do business with, or capital threshold doesn't matter at all.
It's onboarding listing, just like the yellow page. Back then with the yellow page, whether it's a small business, or medium, or large business, you get on board. The validity of your business is key, and that's what we're looking. You have to have a valid business.
So have there been interest from business people?
Yes, there's been interest. We presently we have a booth at UE Building, where I think the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce they have, and it tells you that even the Nigerians, they know fully about it, and they were interested because they knew it's going to be a win for them, and customers will be able to reach out and understand their business. You have your opening hours, you have for business. Now, you want to see a doctor today, a specialist. Let's say somebody says, I want to see a gynae. Where do you find it? Unless you ask somebody. But definitely you can have this call center you can call. They can refer you to the available specialist to tell you this.
Now, Mr. McFord, let us come to the we sabi, we sabi. Misabi. How did that come about? Somebody will asking, Misabi, yes, which means we know how to do. But like, how did it come about?
They were brainstorming within the team about it, and the tagline is Misabi, and the response is what you they look for. So we know exactly what you're looking for, and we want to address your business needs.
Okay, the thing is, I know this media engagement is one of the ways you want to popularize, we sabi. But then now, don't you think, the popularization should go beyond just the media engagement? I mean, the outreach programs as well, so that people know better. For example, not everybody has access to television or radio. There are some people, in fact, they don't have time for that. Do you also embark on outreach programs, for Sabi to be known, for Sabi to be Sabi?
Yes, we do have complete team. They're out there moving, and they'll be in the t-shirts with Sabi, as I said, with their IDs. We're using other media platforms as well. The digital space, of course, which is our strength. We're using the digital space as well as the newspapers. So we're actually pushing out and building the awareness because we want to have that centralized database.
So how secured will this be? How can any of you assuring these businesses? Because as a country, we have been challenged over the years. We have even people using companies' names to do fraudulent activities. How secured is your service that you can assure businesses that if my information is given to Misabi, we know it will be secured?
Number one is we're looking for valid business. Two, the visit to these businesses, you must have a physical address. So with the physical address, the engraver will validate that. And with the physical address, the tool we're using, they will take a picture of the storefront to ensure that that picture is going to be mapped to the GPS coordinate. So somebody cannot take a picture at New England and then the address is at Kissy Road. Automatically, the tool will reject.
But then how are you reached? The thing is that this is a new concept in this country. It is not new. It has not been here before. So now that you are introducing, this is a product you are introducing. How do you, the issue also of sustainability comes into play? How sustainable is this venture? How do you hope to sustain it? Yeah.
Yes. As I said earlier, the listing is the free tier we have, but then beyond the listing is we're looking at what are the needs for the business to be digitized. We want to digitize as many as possible businesses, whether it's e-commerce you want to have a platform on, whether you want to have a website on your own, whether you need to be registered with a domain for your website. So we're looking at these businesses, and that's what will be the backbone for sustainability.
But how are you reached? We want to know where you are, where probably your office space is, so that how are you contacted?
18 Dundas Street, so our address, where we presently operating, and you can reach us on mobile 079 442 442.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Wisabi, where the CEO trading as Wisabi. Desmond McCoy. Thank you so much for your updates this morning. And the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra.
So we take a health tip of today and to now find out if teeth and bones are the same. While similar in some aspects, teeth and bones have key differences like durability and structure. Let us watch from this short clip and learn.
We are back, and the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from Broadcasting House in England. In Freetown. I hope you learned a lot from those health tips, because it is really essential that we keep ourselves healthy. Now, the Sierra Leone Indigenous Importers Welfare Association has called on the government of Sierra Leone to urge the relevant authorities to fast-track the clearance of their containers at the country's ports. The association says importers have experienced prolonged delays in clearing their routes over the past several months, causing serious setbacks to their businesses. Many members have reportedly suffered financial losses, while others are struggling to repay bank loans taken to finance their imports. On Monday, we hosted the public relations officer of the Importers Association and the president of the Sierra Leone Indigenous Importers Welfare Association, and much blame was directed to or at the Sierra Leone Ports Authority and the clearing and forwarding agencies, among others. But today in the studio, we have the head of special duties, the Sierra Leone Ports Authority, Idris Tarawali. Good morning, Mr. Tarawali.
A very good morning, sir.
We also have the president of the Sierra Leone Customs Brokers Union, Mohammed Anthony Saya. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Now, I start with you, Mr. Tarawali from the Sierra Leone Ports Authority. Now, tell us, these accusations are not new. These are perennial, accusations. Year in, year out, we hear the importers grumbling. But in fact, now what has made the thing so much, what has exacerbated the whole thing is that they now say the traffic at the ports is too heavy. But in fact, they even claimed that place is congested. Now, how do you allay their fears? Because it seems as though they are getting out of patience, their goods are stuck, and the delays are causing them a lot. So how do you address this?
Thank you very much again. It is true. There was a protest from the indigenous importers. When we hear or when we saw them displaying placards and the rest of it as an authority, immediately we invited them. We met with them last week Friday, the 31st, and they outlined a number of issues, among which some of the ones you've already came up with, that has to do with delay in the process and the cost they incur as importers. I also want to agree with you that the issue of delays has always been up for the attention of us. That is why we're working closely with them. Coming to the importers, when we met with them, like I said, they outlined a lot of issues, among which includes issues of valuation between customs and ITS, that they are always inconsistent. That was one of the issues they come up with. They also came up with issues relating to fines they pay on CTN. Okay, we took note of all of that.
These I don't know if they're acronyms or abbreviations. Can we just
okay, cargo tracking note.
Okay.
CTN meaning cargo tracking note. There is a company working on that, logistics solution, service solutions. That's the company working on that. And they also raised an issue that we as a port, or the port, because as it is now, we are landlords, we are just regulators. The operations is being concession. We have concessionaires working, especially that has to do with container. We have the Freetown terminal. They are handling container exclusively, 100%. And it also relates to other services like the cargo tracking note that I just said. We also has to do with the integrated trade services. Now, on this issue, they also came up with this issue of preferential treatment to foreigners that has to do with transit and the rest of it. Okay, in that meeting at least, we invited all the stakeholders, the various stakeholders operating within the port, because that is our responsibility to create an enabling environment for all of those working within the port. So the issues were addressed. It's like we are just facilitators. Each of the concerns were directed to the particular industry or individual or company that has to do with that. Now, on the issue of valuation, the customs manager outdoor, Mr. Jusu, was at that meeting. And there is also a Mrs. Bokari from the scanning department explained that some of the issues they have at the scanning department, in the process, we have 3 sections. You have the pre-clearance process, you have the clearance process itself, and the post-clearance process. Now, we're going to address the issue of delays immediately. If you make very good use of that opportunity in the clearance process, in the pre-clearance process, meaning before the arrival of the vessel inside.
But then now, Mr. Secretary, are you suggesting that delays at the port is not your own making, as an authority?
It is.
Rather, because I know that there are now private entities operating within our ports. Some dealing with bulk, cargo, and other activities at the port. But then you are the ones that are supposed to be, because at the end of the day, now when the blame has come, the blame is not on them. It is the Secretary of Port and Harbour Authority. You are the ones that are facing this public, outcry. So what do you do about that?
We are working assiduously on that. I want to agree with you that there are several other players operating within the port. Like I said, we are just regulators now because we are landlords. We've been our responsibilities have been concession to those working on the bulk cargo and those working with the containers. So whenever this issue came up, we have to step in as landlord. Like the complaints that the importers came with, that was why we didn't wait for anybody. We summoned them immediately, which they appreciated in the meeting, and apologized that they did not know that they should have contacted the SLPA directly. But we asked them, they came out with all of these concerns, and we somehow tried to address them. Because we have all of the other players, like I said, all of the other players were there, and these questions were directed at them, that these are the concerns, you have to address it. And at the end of the day, on the issue of the valuation difference, that was addressed. Mrs. Bokari clearly said it has to do with declarations that they, the importers, make. We have something that we call the CIF value, cost, insurance, and freight. From that, ITS Integrated Services, that is their responsibility. They will look at that one and see if you have the original certificate, the original invoice for the cost, like that, and they will have to charge 1% of the original cost. What happens most times, that is understandable. From what we understand, they do not actually, or whether it is between them and the brokers, but the brokers were also there and they explain their own part. Okay. So it's like they explain their own part of it, that sometimes they do not give them the originals of those documents. And at that stage, you'll have to pay the 1% based on the total amount that the goods incur, right? Now, from that point, when you come back, you have the cargo tracking note. Also, the cargo tracking note, according to law, you're supposed to have made that payment from the country of origin, meaning the port of loading. That is what the law says. You should have paid that note, and that cargo tracking note has to do with security. IMO came up with that after the 9/11 incident. They looked at it that terrorists have attacked through the road, they've attacked by air, and the next possible option is by sea.
So,
So let us hold you there. Let us bring in Mohammed Anthony Salia. You're the president of the Sailing Custom Brokers Union. So you're like the middleman in all this. So is it that you have been challenged over the years in executing your duties? That is why we keep seeing strikes by these importers over the years.
Yes, as you rightly said, these are perennial issues. I pity Sierra Leone Port Authority because whenever there are issues down the port, boiling on delays, they refer to them. And we have statutory laws. They are not actually responsible for the customs clearance part. This is a responsibility for the National Revenue Authority. So for we think that when we have such situation, they should not refer to them. They are the ports. Prior to this time, they have been providing handling service before ever it was
outsourced. So, Mr. Quickly, are you exonerating? Are you exonerating the Sierra Leone Port?
I'm not exonerating. I just want us to get it straight because, for example, you cannot allow a fisherman to sub.
But they are the landlords.
They are the landlords, but they are not responsible.
Bus stops.
Yes.
I know on their table.
Yeah. Let me say this. In November 2022, I escalated this same issue to the past Chief Minister, J.J. Safa. November 9th, we went to State House. We discussed the same issues. I told them, I gave them the warning signs that if we don't come together and sit and look at these issues, it's going to compound to an extent that it will be extremely difficult to solve. And that is where we are now. June 2024, we also escalated these similar issues to Parliament. We went there, public hearing, we spent days there, we left more or less, we could not address the issues. A couple of weeks back, we were with the current Chief Minister. We tabled also the issues and we cannot. So for me, they provide all the service to us on behalf of the importers. And the role we play is to advocate indirectly on behalf of governments. Because when we see these delays coming, we will red flag it, we take it to authorities, but more or less like they see us like underdogs in the entire value chain.
I mean the brokers.
No, the authorities, the government officials. Because
they see you, the brokers,
we the brokers as underdogs.
But failing to realize that. It's a chain. You are actually important.
No, let me say this. Failing to realize that, with the greatest respect to him, if he's talking about port security and cargo security, I will listen to him to teach me. There is no government official who knows the process better than we do. But when we attend meetings, they don't listen to us. They listen to those that actually just know a minute at the
So in other words, Mr. Salia, are you saying that the brokers are sidelined? They are not listening to.
They don't listen. They don't listen to us. And what we have been missing over the years, you understand? The issues are not new. What we have been missing over the years is the approach to solve these issues, and we are still not getting it right. Because if we attend meetings, we always keep saying the broker is causing the delay, the broker is causing the delay, and we sell speed. We sell speed. For example, when an importer contacts you, some of them will tell you that I'm paying in full. If my container runs demurrage, you are going to pay. And no broker will like to get documents from an importer and allow that container to run demurrage. As we are talking now, there is an institution, I will not name here, with an agency. They have a problem over 500,000 million that the agency pre-financed and paid demurrage on behalf of that institution. Now the institution is saying that he will not pay back that agency because they are responsible.
So where does the problem lies with NRA and Port Authority with this whole delay process?
The entire problem is that we have been tweaking the process. We have completely deviated.
So who is speaking? Who is speaking the
Now, for example, as the gentleman who was sitting here from ACC was saying, we have bad eggs across the board. When something goes wrong that results to revenue leakage, what the authorities will do, they will tweak the process. Before this time, if an importer gives me their documents, I will tell you exactly that within 48 hours or maximum 72 hours, I will deliver your container. But now they don't even ask because they know that it will take the next 4 or 5 days to get a truck. When we get the truck, it will take the next 4 or 5, even 1 week for the truck to enter the yard. When it enters the yard, we struggle again a number of days for it to load. They are doing this because they think they are bad eggs. So the bad thing that is happening is that you keep those that are doing the bad things in the system, and then you tweak the system.
But then the thing is that you heard from Mr. Tarawan, even the importers, there are certain arrangements, they could have done, from wherever they are getting their goods from, which sometimes they do not do. That also is one of the reasons for the delays.
That is a reason for delay. But I will tell you that probably just 10% of importers that are doing that. You understand? The problem, for example, in Sierra Leone is one of the countries that we don't complete the pre-clearance process. I took shipping lines to Parliament 2024 because they violated the Finance Act of 2024, wherein it was clearly stipulated that you have to ensure that you lodge your manifest prior to the arrival of the vessel. They are not doing it. And those that are supposed to enforce those regulations, they are not enforcing it. Even this 2026.
Even you, the brokers, there are times people say you are also responsible for some of the delays. That there are times you don't handle things the way they are supposed to be handled, and then customers will keep on complaining. And then I don't know if that has been brought to the attention of the Sierra Leone Ports and Labour Authority, that you are also part of the problem.
We are all part of the problem in the chain. And let me say this, there is a complete low productive hours down the port. You see, if we shy away and continue to play the blame game, the authorities will not actually understand what is happening and you will not get the solution. If you are sick, you go to the doctor, you are not diagnosed properly, the doctor will not heal you. So this is what is happening. Yes, we have careless brokers, but we have reforms that we put in place to ensure that we get those out that are very careless. But equally so, for example now, we have agreed at 8:30 a.m. you should start work. I will tell you now that if you go to some offices, you not meet officials on the desk. Some will go, they sign in, and then they go out of the office again. They will not settle to work until late.
But then what do you do to regulate your brokers? Because you have an association, right? And you know exactly how the ports operate. You know the things that you should do and the things that you shouldn't do, the processes and procedures involved. But then how do you regulate your brokers? Because they are part of an association, and if you are part of an association and the association has a policy on ABC and D, it is imperative that you adhere. So how do you also hold your own brokers, your membership accountable?
You see what is happening is that we have multiple processes that you do concurrently. For example, if you go down, say, to NRA, you don't meet a broker there, probably he's at the bank paying. If you go to FTL, you don't meet a broker there, probably somewhere it's at the shipping line trying to collect a delivery order. We have our respective social media handles. We always engage them. We've been impressing on them that go to work early. But you cannot tell me that if you come here at 9 o'clock, you don't meet any broker there, or you meet few brokers there, it doesn't mean that they are not working. The Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Importers Association and the Import-Export Federation's president, they took an unexpected walk down the ports. They went to a particular institution. They met more than 300-400 brokers piled up there without the institution providing a service to them. So do you want to tell me that the broker is idle? No. Let me tell you this. You have to understand, for example, what it takes the broker to do before you load a container. If before this time, within 24 hours, 48 hours, we clear a container, and now you have to take a week to get a truck to enter the yard, do you blame the broker for that? You don't blame the broker for that. But if always you have to heap the fault on the broker, and those that are responsible, you shield them, you protect them,
so Mr.
you never get it right.
How often do you engage these stakeholders that are in this old drive? Because I'm quite sure, in as much as you are having these challenges, if you engage more often, you see some headways in all of this.
We are definitely engaging more often. We have the port operators hours we meet at regular intervals. At times in a week, we engage them 1 or 2 times. As I keep saying, we have to have calm heads. We change the approach how we resolve these issues. I told them in our meeting last week that now the issues are so compounding that we cannot get a holistic solution at a go. We have to pick the solutions piecemeal. What is happening now? Let me tell you something. Mr. Mago will be sitting in his office. He has his lieutenant down the field. They will just be there and then change a procedure. If a container has been released, if one man says that this is not good, even when everything is intact, just for his signature, he will not send, and that container will sleep in the port. And these are man-made, non-tariff barriers that is affecting the process.
So, Mr. Tawale,
I'm not saying they are responsible. I'm just giving an example. We have careless people as well. We have, the thing is, it's like a cobweb on the entire process, like a spider web. You go down there, it's extremely difficult to understand. So I'm saying here that if we don't change the approach, because we have been explaining, we know the issues, we know where they are coming from, but the approach to solve these issues, and it's not helping this nation. It is really not helping this nation. How could I get one container and take 1 month to clear it, and then you say the broker is idle? No, we have to understand what the broker is going through to clear that container, and this is what I want to draw the attention of the Chief Minister to. Now that he has expressed interest to get it resolved, but I'm still saying to him, the approach he wants to adopt or the methodology to get it resolved will not get out of the quagmire.
So, Mr. Tawale, let us bring you in. So,
Yes.
where are we right now? Because the importers are complaining that they are incurring losses due to these delays. Because you yourself admitted to the fact that this is a whole age problem. It has been going in circles, and you have from Mr. Salia, it's like a cobweb that is covering the whole system. How far are you in resolving these issues? Because these importers, they're running to losses.
Okay, I want to thank you. That's a very good one. You see, we are very much aware of that. 2 things. You hear Mr. Salia talking about gaining access into the port. It's an issue of congestion. And the fact there is 2 things. The number of volumes that we were handling before now has quadrupled or even more. And you look at the size of the port can no longer hold that number, the quantities of those containers. So that is one, and we are working towards that. And the congestion is 2 ways, because of the size of the port, one, and there are other congestions leading to other port users, like drivers and the rest of it. You will see some breakdowns within the terminal, considering the size of the port, the small space we are coping with. You will see breakdowns, you will see some trucks parking. When you go and interrogate them, they will tell you incomplete documentation. We are waiting for ABC to come and give us the document to go out of
But
the
the process is
so
also,
what we
you
have
don't get congestion.
what we have done as a port, what we've started doing now, we have established an ICD, meaning an internal container depot at Hastings that holds about 5,000 to 6,000 containers. And we've also directed the issue of transshipment. All transshipment containers are being dealt with as the container depot at Hastings. And also,
in fact, this is the elephant in the room. You know, and it is good you've mentioned it, but we are also doing transshipment, and the size of the port, you know, cannot really accommodate probably some of the activities insofar as transshipment is concerned. For example, you know, Guinea, yeah. So this one, some are saying that the delays are caused, you know, by for example, transshipment. The port is small, and the activities are increasing. You know, the activities have increased, but the port itself doesn't have the capacity.
yes, what I'm saying here is that we are mindful of that. That is why we established the ICD, the container depot at Hastings. All transshipment arrangements are being done at the depot, and also empty containers. Dealing with empty containers also is being done at the depot. So it's like all of this. Imagine we have something like 5,000 to 6,000 containers at the depot at Hastings. Imagine all of those containers were still within the port. It would have created so much chaos.
Okay.
You understand?
So now, quickly, you know, Mr. Sadia and Mr. Traore, what do you think should be the way out of this quagmire? Because as it stands right now, there's a stalemate. You know, the importers are complaining. Yes, the port is saying that you know, the port is small, and the activities have increased. Transshipment being one of them. So how do we get out of this? Because at the end of the day, all of us know the role, you know, the ports play in this country's economy. How do we get out of this? You know, I start with you, Mr. Sadia.
We have to standardize the process and make it seamless. Understand? They have to sit with us and let us walk them through how we can get the solution. For example, there are certain things we are doing we should deviate from. We have to start to scan on arrival containers. You understand? From the vessel, you scan, but that is not happening. If we don't do that, and then the volume as
You have to be very brief. Time is not fair anymore.
okay, so we scan on arrival. It's very, very important. We sit down, we see how we can make the process seamless. We don't allow any institution to just wake up overnight and say, I'm changing this process and add tables. And anyway, time is up to now.
Okay, it's like I just want to encourage Cylonians and business people to believe that we are also in line with them. They are Cylonians, they deserve better. And we are always working as a support to ensure these things work. An announcement from Madam Obi, the importers, because they came with a complaint the last time that has to do with...
So how soon do we see this resolved?
It's ongoing. We started with the ICD to decongest the port, and we are doing more. And also we have increased working hours. Now we've got the directive that even Saturdays and Sundays, we are working further to decongest the port. Madam Obi and our membership should report to Mask Silo for the containers that came and we are that went on demurrage. Okay. So they will go to Mask Line, and the Mask Line have assured us that they will make sure
the Sierra Harbour and Ports Authority needs to have an exclusive program on SNBC to explain all of these. Well, thank you so much. He is special duties head at the Sierra Leone Ports and Harbour Authority. He is earlier you heard Salia. Well, he is the president of the Sierra Leone Customs Brokers Union, Mohammed Anthony Salia. And that is how we say goodbye. It has been good morning, Sierra Leone, which came to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. Many thanks to the entire production team, especially producer Daphne Zainab Kamal. I am Sheikh Usman.
And I am Esther Sako. You take our quote of today, and it's from American theologian Leone Edwards, and it says, between two evils, choose neither. Between two goods, choose both. Well, good morning, sir. You need thanks tomorrow. I am Esther Sako. Stay good to your public service broadcaster, yes, SRBC. If you can.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available Brown Gold Natural Cocoa Powder, Sunny Gold Brown Sugar, Neat Fufu Flour, Shito, Pisa, and Moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.